Ladies and gentlemen, this is day number 2 here at Diesels and Dark Corners. Last night we got through about 2:30 in the morning, but we're going to be kicking things off this afternoon with the Pro Farm class. So, Pro Farms, tons of action here tonight. We had quite a few last night. We had quite a few last night to go in there that lost turbos. So we're going into with 150 hooks scheduled for tonight. So it's going to be a late night. You want to join us here with all the action. All these, head on over to Football Picks, make your picks, check things out. Also, if you're live streaming, obviously you're watching us, we're going to give you a little bit of feed if you're following us on Facebook to give you just a touch of the action. So we're going to be getting things kicked off in the Pro Farm class here tonight.
This is my playlist, Donald. In case y'all want to know what we listen to, right, hit the radio for the tractor pulls, diesels, and dark corners on Spotify. That's some good tractor music now, Donald, I'm telling you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturday edition, Diesels and Dark Corners 15 here at Liberty Truck and Tractor Pool. We appreciate each and every one of y'all coming out here and spending this beautiful Saturday afternoon with us. You couldn't ask for better weather. Talking about it get a little cool tomorrow, but we'll take it. We want to thank all our pullers, the volunteers, the track crew, everybody, Ryan, Dennis, Hank, their wives, everybody here at Liberty Truck and Tractor Pool that put so much effort into making this thing happen. We appreciate all the pullers that come from all over the United States and Canada come down here and pull with us this weekend. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a show. And if we didn't have the pullers, if we got the pullers and we don't have the spectators that y'all come out here and spend with us, we wouldn't have a pool either. So we thank each and every one of y'all as well. So if you would, we're going to stand right quick. We're going to thank the good Lord. And then we're going to thank the veterans. And then we're going to go to pulling. If y'all would, bow your heads, remove your hats.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. Be with all the pullers, staff, and spectators. Keep us all safe throughout the night. Bless us with a good pool and a safe trip home. In your name we pray. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Easy, ladies and gentlemen. Also, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, if we have any veterans here with us today, y'all give them all a round of applause. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be out here pulling today. Thank y'all so much for your service. We want to thank Mr. Dan Mayer for coming out here and helping announce today. He is a world-renowned, showing up professional announcer. I want to thank him so much, Dan, for helping us out. He's with the Full Pool Live team and all that crowd. They're the one that's helping us put it all on the internet, Facebook Live and all that deal. So y'all watch out. Y'all be on the internet tonight for sure.
All right, well, thank you very much, Will, and glad to be back here for session number 2. Now, the question is, are you fans ready to go here this afternoon? Let's hear from you. All right, yeah, we've got a spectacular show here once again. Now, by a show of hands, how many fans were with us last night? All right, well, welcome back, and then, of course, welcome all the fans that came out here. Beautiful Saturday afternoon. We've got 6 classes of competition. We're going to get things started here with the Pro Farm tractors, and then we're going truck pulling from that point on. So we've got everything from big rigs here this afternoon all the way up to the multi-charger, 4-wheel drive, super stock trucks here this afternoon. It's going to be a great show, over 150 hooks once again. So sit back, relax. It's going to be a great show. And, of course, we are going to give away those championship belts here tonight. So stay tuned. Going to be an outstanding program, and we're just about ready to get things rolling right now. So our first class of competition here tonight will be the Pro Farm tractors here. And Pro Farm tractors are going to be sponsored here tonight by our same sponsor we had last night, Hansford Hay Truck and Trailer. And we'll talk a little bit about them here as the class moves along here. But we'll see the Pro Farm tractors. Now, they're going to run at 2 different weights. You'll notice as they go down the track. Now, we've got tractors out here with bigger 24.5-inch wide rear tires. They're going to be weighing at 8,500 pounds. And then you'll see the tractors that'll come out with the skinnier 18-inch tires. Those tractors will weigh in at 9,000 pounds. So we've got a couple different organizations come together, and that's what they have come up for the weight package on this particular class. Now, of course, fans in pulling, it is a maximum weight rule, kind of different from what you've seen out in drag racing and stock car racing, where you want to be as light as possible. Well, in the sport of tractor and truck pulling, you cannot weigh more than that particular weight for that class. So 85 and 9,000 pounds for the Pro Farm class to get us rolling, and then we'll move on into our super stock multi-charger diesel trucks, and they'll weigh in around 7,500 pounds. So those will be a couple things to watch here as we move along with afternoon action here today. Well, Will, looks like the fans are ready to go. How about yourself? You ready to go here this afternoon?
I reckon. We was out here at 2:30 this morning. We might as well as he, ain't it? Boy, I tell y'all what, Mr. Dan does an excellent job announcing, don't he, crowd? I tell you what, he's a good fella. Appreciate him coming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get some tractors out here on deck. We got Charlie's Angel out there, ladies and gentlemen, old Michael Tayanis. That Coal Center, Pennsylvania cat on Raggedy Farm Mall. Mercy. No distance. 306.03, 32 mile an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Now, just so y'all know, in case y'all don't keep up with it very much, the first puller in every class gets the option to turn it down or keep his hook. And the way that baby snuffed out, I'd say he's probably going to turn it down if he can get that international to crank.
Now, fans, speaking about our track here this afternoon, we've got it lined out to right around 400 feet out there this afternoon. Approximately 40 feet wide. There's your normal two-lane highway there. And you'll notice the white lines each side of the track. You touch the white line, you will be disqualified with your pulling vehicle. So the object right there, stay off that white line. We've seen a couple competitors last night get a little bit too close to that white line, and don't want to see anybody make the long haul down here and have something like that cause them a good finish here tonight. So stay off those white lines as we've got our first official distance here of 306.03 to get us started here this afternoon with our Pro Farm class.
Having trouble getting his crank. They're trying to get somebody to crank.
I tell y'all what, ladies and gentlemen, I think we done kept them old tried to pull farmers down there out too late last night. They having trouble getting them things to crank this afternoon. We waiting on the Red Rattler to get here.
And once again, fans, this class brought to you by Hansford Hay Truck and Tractor, local store for truck and trailer needs, offering ranch hands, flatbeds, equipment trailers, stock trailers, and Vermeer Ag Equipment and Parts. Check them out on Facebook or online at hansfordhay.com. Yeah, fans, take a look at the replay board down there at the end of the track. Now, you saw that first tractor that went down the track here tonight, and we've seen a lot of smoke out of Charlie's Angel there, so I would have to imagine that was a lot to do with his decision as he made his way down the track here tonight. 3:06.03, so going to keep that run as our first puller. And a little bit of excess smoke. Of course, we'll have the replays up there at the end of the track. So if you see some exciting action out there, and also we'll have the distances up there as well. If we don't give them to you, do have the signboard over here on the announcer's side as well down there at the end of the track. So trying to keep up with our top 5, top 10 for you. Get some of these classes with, 30, 40 vehicles in them. And we'll try to keep you abreast of what is going on here this afternoon.
All right, next man on deck, ladies and gentlemen, is old Keith Race out of Dry Ridge, Kentucky, ladies and gentlemen. Another one of the more raggedy fireballs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm louder than y'all are. Y'all, I'm a little biased. Y'all gonna find it out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry about that, but you can't farm with a red tractor. It just ain't legal. It's somewhere in the Bible, somewhere y'all just can't read,
All right, fans, well, our big winner from one day ago. Let's see if he can double up here. Of course, running for that championship belt.
Keith Race, ladies and gentlemen, out of Dry Ridge, Kentucky. Mercy, ladies and gentlemen, 332.28, top speed at 33 miles an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Had a boy there, Keith. Yeah, he won the class last night, didn't he there? Dan, yep. That's good enough for first place so far. Now, pretty much your John Deere and your International in the 70s and early 80s, ladies and gentlemen, come out. They had 466 cubic inch engines in them off the factory. I think these are somewhere around 510 now.
How about it, fans? Let's give our new leader a nice round of applause. 3:32.28. Lays down a tough one here early in our class. And it's going to be a great competitive class. I think we got about 20 entries once again. Here in our combined Pro Farm class, once again, you see the tractors out there with the skinnier 18-inch tires. They weigh in at 9,000 pounds. The bigger tires, 24.5-inch wide, they weigh in at 8,500 pounds.
All right, third man on deck in the Hansford Hay tractor, 8,500-pound Pro Farm tractor class, ladies and gentlemen. It's old Rusty Tanner out of Madison, Virginia. John Deere 8110, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how many. This is the beat so far, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all keeping up with it, it's 332.28. All right, Rusty, put a whooping up on them farm ball, Buddy Rose. Show them how it's done. Mercy! 328.32, 328.32. Top speed of 32.2 miles an hour.
Yeah, Rusty Tanner fans in this John Deere, the second chance. He was scheduled to come out number 2, Hook. Had some issues down there on the start line. Had to drop a couple positions, but lays down a nice run here. Puts him in that number 2 spot. We got any John Deere fans out there this afternoon? Where are you? Here you go, Will. There's your fans. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, Will's a big John Deere guy.
I can take it just as good as I can give it, Dan. All the reason there ain't that many John Deere's out here, ladies and gentlemen, they all out there in the field working. You know, it's harvest season. Wonder how long it been since International made a try. Been a while, ain't it, Dan?
Been a little bit. Yeah, been a little bit. Well, fans, we'd like to thank Fleece Performance Engineering. Fleece Performance Engineering is a leading manufacturer of aftermarket diesel performance products with a reputation for innovation, quality, and service. Our products push the limits of diesel performance technology.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all get a chance to get on this side of the track, the Greensboro Tire tent here beside the National booth, they got giving away some hats, some T-shirts, a hoodie or two, and a turtle box, and so on and so forth. So y'all come over here and fill out the piece of paper, come see them at the Greensboro Tire tent. Sign them up, you might win you a turtle box. Them things are pretty nice. Got some magnets on them, stick on the rocks on your tractor. We got the Lucky Buck on deck, ladies and gentlemen. One of them big bad green tractors. Out of Cynthiana, Kentucky. Tipton Ellington. He called that thing the Lucky Buck, ladies and gentlemen. As always, the flag man owns the track out there. They had to say so. Once the track crew gets off, they don't like what they see. They'll keep the red flag out there till it gets right.
Now, fans, last night on our track seemed like a lot of the competitors were favoring this left-hand side of our track. It looks like early on here they've kind of gone right back to this left side. A lot of the pullers talked to this morning and last night were saying a little bit firmer over here on the left side. So we'll see how this will shake out here. Sun's going to be on a little bit longer here today as we're ready to go with the Lucky Buck.
Mercy, 323.07. 32.3 miles an hour. 323.07. Tristan Ellington, ladies and gentlemen, out of Cynthiana, Kentucky.
All right, fans, a good run there for the Lucky Buck and Tristan Ellington out of the state of Kentucky. A lot of competitors coming down from the state of Kentucky running here in this Pro Farm class. Of course, we'll put them in that number 3 spot currently. Of course, the Red Lattler, last night's winner, still holding on to that number 1 spot. As we'll take a look here on the replay. Got that front end up. That's the idea out there. Want to get that front end up around 15, 20 inches off the ground. Transfer all that weight back to those rear tires. Now, Tristan kind of let it drift off to the right side of the track. Now, you fans over here towards the middle part, you can see the ruts down through there in that track. A little bit of a soft spot through there.
That's what I tell myself. Wishful thinking. Nobody else believes it, but maybe I do.
Hey, as long as you believe it, I'm not a man. I guess. I can't tell you, I feel older than I am.
8,500 pounds, ladies and gentlemen, big and bad old Raggedy International County Farmall 1066. Brian McConnell calls that thing, ladies and gentlemen, the Milkman's Mojo. Out of Volant, Pennsylvania. Come all the way down here to Georgia. Brian McConnell, ladies and gentlemen, he got the green light and the chain tied down there. .1, 319.10, 31.1 miles an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Brian McConnell. Good job there, Buddy Rowe. We are pulling a Hansford Hay and tried the 8,500 pound Pro Farm class, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, fans, also would like to thank Twisted Pine Woodworking and Engraving. Twisted Pine Woodworking and Engraving has provided us with some good-looking plaques for the winners in each class. They have your local award shop. They have trophies and plaques of all different styles to choose from. Visit their website at twistedpinemadison.com.
Got another one of them scrap metal tractors out there, ladies and gentlemen, 1971 model. International County Farmall 1066, old Chad Saylor. Mashing the clutch on that thing out of Brooks, Georgia. Distance to beach, 332.28. Chad Saylor, ladies and gentlemen. Mercy, 307.60, 307.60. 30 mile an hour even. Good job there, Chad. Y'all don't forget now, ladies and gentlemen, y'all go over there and see our vendors. I know they got some dang kettle popcorn over there that is sure enough good. I think he said it's about $7 a bag or something like that. He brought me a bag over here and that stuff is good. They got some boiled peanuts, hamburgers, hot dogs. We got some all kind of goodies over here, barbecue everywhere. You leave here hungry, it's your own fault. Don't forget we got hats and t-shirts for sale here under the announcer booth.
All right, fans, so Chad Saylor, the International 1066, comes up short here at 307 and 60. As we'll take a look here at the leaderboard, we'll put him in that number 5 spot. As next up, we'll have Larry Jester, the Trial and Error Ford out of Whitewright, Texas. Now, Will, last night there was some shenanigans with this tractor. He went to the starting line. He was missing some lug nuts on the right front wheel. We think somebody back there took off some lug nuts and played some joke on him there, but he says, nope, we might have left the shop there from Texas with no lug nuts on it, but we still think there was something going on with that.
Well, if any of y'all know old Joe Christopher, you wouldn't put it past him. You know, them farm-all folks, you got to watch them. They're a little sneaky sometimes. Old Larry he was a good sport about that thing. He said it was his fault. He's out of Whitewright, Texas, ladies and gentlemen. He got a slightly smaller injection pump, what he was telling me this afternoon. He just tickled to come down here and pull with us down here at Diesels and Dark Corners. Big Bad Ford 8000, ladies and gentlemen, 1970 model. He called that thing Trial and Error, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Jester. Mercy! 293.3, 293.3, 28.5 mile an hour.
Now, you fans right around that 300-foot mark, check that front wheels on both sides. Make sure he does have all the lug nuts on there. Make sure there was no...
it was your front ride out that day.
I think last night, he ended up making the run with 3 of them on there. They found one extra one, was able to put it on there for him.
I went out there and checked him in the pits this afternoon just to make darn sure.
Yeah, if you've got a Ford vehicle back in the pit area, make sure you check your lug nuts before you leave here tonight. Fans of 293, 30, 293, and 30 is the distance for Larry Jester. The Trial and Error Ford 8000 out of Whitewright, Texas. We'll put him back in the field just a little bit here, back in number 7 spot. So everybody's still chasing Keith Race with that red Rattler. Early hook in the class. Now, all these competitors, when they register for a class, will more or less a blind draw for where they start. Pick a number out of the hat, lowest number goes first, so on and so forth. And last night, pretty even throughout all the classes as far as the draw went. Track was pretty consistent for all the competitors, and pretty much that's all you can ask for, is that track crew out there just done a spectacular job all evening long, and looking to do the same here today, here on our track, here at Diesels and Dark Corners.
Another farm-all on deck, ladies and gentlemen. I believe they was giving them away back in the 70s. Another one of them 1066, ladies and gentlemen. He called that farm-all Against the Grain. Mr. Bill Shaw's under the steering wheel of that thing out of New Alexandria, Pennsylvania. £8,500 is the limit, ladies and gentlemen. Mercy, 318.01, 31.8 mile an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Shaw.
Okay, they're not going to be out here. Okay.
Daddy, I'm going to use the restroom.
Hey, Jason.
I want to use the restroom.
Semi-class. Bethany and Scott. This one.
Lord, look at that pretty blue paint down there, ladies and gentlemen. That back in the day when they put some chrome on a tractor. 1970 model Ford 8000, ladies and gentlemen. 401 cubic inches when it come off the factory. Mr. Mike Savey out of Hillsborough, Kentucky. He called that thing the Shop Dog.
Yeah, yesterday we saw the Shop Dog make a hard right down there towards the 300-foot mark on the track. Let's see if he can keep her straight here this afternoon. Oh, yeah. How about it, Ford fans?
321.8, 321.8, ladies and gentlemen, 31.9 mile an hour. That's good enough for fourth with Dan's math up here. I'm going to blame it on him if I'm wrong. He did pretty good last night at about 2:30.
Yeah, great run there for Mike Savey and the Ford 8000 out of Kentucky, the Shop Dog. Of course, Mike Savey for many, many years ran the light super stock class with the John Deere tractors over the years and has settled nicely here into this Pro Farm class. Running with the Battle of the Bluegrass organization up there in the state of Kentucky. And a lot of these competitors you're seeing out here run in this Pro Farm class this afternoon, run with that organization. All right, attention in the pit area. We need all 3-6 trucks. 3-6 trucks to the right scale, please. All 3-6 diesel trucks We need you to the right scale, please. Thank you. All right, fans, so those that are watching on Facebook as well as YouTube on the free look-in, we are going to end that after this next tractor makes its run here, the harnessed horses machine of Ray Hall. Going to be this tractor coming up next here. This is the guy with the really unique helmet here. Take a look at this one, fans. It's going to be Halloween here in a week, and check out the helmet on this competitor right here. But those watching at home, we're going to end it after this run.
Mercy, 293.85. Raymond Hall, ladies and gentlemen, 28.6 miles an hour.
Now, fans, you can head on over to Full Pull Live. If you're not a subscriber, $39.99 a month. They'll get you all the rest of the action here today, as well as in a couple weeks. Going to be out at the Golden State Invitational out in California. Pretty much the last outdoor event of the 2025 season. So head on over to Pull Pull Live if you're not a subscriber. Don't miss a minute of the action. And you can also check out Full Pull Picks as well. And we have some games going here for all afternoon for these classes. But make sure you